see that homecoming getaway. How great it must be for the angels to see a pilgrim reach home. On heaven's bright shore, there'll be no dying over there. Not one little grave, not one little grave in all that fair land, that wonderful land. Not even a tear will dim the eye, and no one up there will say goodbye. Just singing his praise through endless days on heaven's bright shore. On heaven's bright shore, there'll be no dying. Not one little grave, not one little grave in all that fair land, that wonderful land. Not even a tear will dim the eye, and no one out there will say goodbye. Just singing his praise through endless days on heaven's bright shore.
Okay, I think that's going to stop. These repeat tabs get me. Anyway, time for questions, if there are any, or statements before we close. Just that business I was going through in the middle of it there, he he kind of equated the council with the council. The council COUNSEL with the council COUNCIL, and they're different. Council with a SEL is to advise, to give advice, or to advise, or the advice itself. Council with a CIL is a group. It's people that perform some function. I mean, they're designated, they're elected or appointed somehow to a committee, and that's what they're there for, is to oversee something. And that's what those the Jews had that. They didn't call it a Knesset then. I don't know what Knesset means, but I guess it was it was called the Sanhedrin. That's what it was back then, and yet that's not the same. Let me just put those verses up there for a minute here. If you got questions, just raise your hand, and when I get done here, I'll call on you, or you can put it in text. Then let's see two. First, let's go to 6:15. 6:12. Acts 6:12. They stirred up the elders, stirred up the people. This is Stephen did miracles, and some of the people from the Jewish synagogue that didn't believe that Jesus was the Messiah, they made trouble for him. They stirred up the people, the elders. That's the Israel's elders, Israel's scribes, and they came upon him, upon Stephen, caught him, and brought him to the council. Well, that's the group. That's this gathering that's designated to rule Israel, like the Sanhedrin. And, you get down to verse 15, and all that sat in the council looked steadfastly on him and saw his face as it had been the face of an angel. So that's that group. You go to Acts 2. Let me think where that was. 23. 23. Let me post that. I think that was what he said. Yeah, here it is. Him, talking about Jesus Christ, being delivered by the determinate counsel. That's SEL. That's the advice. To give advice. the determinate counsel and foreknowledge of God. It's the foreknowledge of God. It's the determinate counsel of God. It wasn't that these guys, the Sanhedrin, determined to kill him, which they did. But that's not what this verse is talking about. This verse is talking about God knew ahead what was going to happen, and he determined in his advice, he being God, triune God, determined that Jesus would bear the sins of the race, of mankind, and that he would die for them on the cross. And I don't believe he gave up his deity or his messiahship when he went there. That's the wonder of it, that God himself paid my penalty. Not that he became lowered to a man, just a man like I am, and then paid for it. No. God, Christ, that's what 1 Corinthians 15:3 says. Christ died for our sins. Not he who had been Christ died for our sins and was made Lord again. No. So counsel with the SEL and counsel with the CIL are different. They sound alike, but we can't equate them and run their definitions and their functions together. They're separate. They're different. Any questions? I don't see a hand up. So I'm going to go ahead and close then with another piece of music. I hope you all enjoy. See you tomorrow. And hopefully I'll be teaching tomorrow in the time we have here. Starting at 7 Central Time, 8 Eastern.
From a distance he'd be watching me, and I think somehow he knew that in my heart I long to be like him. In time, the closer we became, the more it seemed I grew. I'd fall, he'd pick me up, and I'd try again. Loves me even when I do the things I shouldn't do, and when I fail to do the things I should. I've heard it said that love is blind, and I've come to know it's true. He forgets the bad and remembers all the good. In my Father's eyes, there's no wrong I've done. In my Father's eyes, I am the perfect Son. He must see someone I can't see, and it makes me want to try to be like the sun that's in my Father's eyes. And when this life is over, my last trial I've gone through, 'twill be worth it all just to hear him say, well done. Maybe this just what he saw in me. But I'm sure I'll find he was blinded by the sun. In my Father's eyes, there's no wrong I've done. In my Father's eyes, I am the perfect Son. He must see someone I can't see, and it makes me want to try to be like the sun that's in my Father's eyes. He must see someone that I can't see, and it makes me want to try to be like the sun that's in my Father's eyes.